optical art.
Okay guys, I have a lot to cover. I know a lot of you probably won't watch this whole thing all the way through. If you don't, it's your loss. I'm just going to show you why I believe that this Bitcoin Pi cycle bottom indicator is a bunch of crap. It's a trap. The bottom is not in. We're going to drop to around 10,000 early September. I'm going to show you a bunch of charts that show this. Remember, you can access all these live charts on my website, pinned in the first comment description. My Bitget affiliate links also pinned in the first comment description as well. So again, this goes along with the NASDAQ, which Bitcoin is following completely. I'm going to explain why this Pi cycle bottom indicator I think is just going to get a lot of people wrecked. I'm going to cover this chart as well. I'm actually going to recreate it and show you how I found these fib channels, why around 10,000 early September is likely. Again, I'll come back to this chart and show you how I found those fib channels. This also has to do with the CME futures chart. This is the CPI data. This is the inflation rate. You know, I see these charts, I actually see patterns and trend lines. I haven't seen anyone actually chart this. I went ahead and did it. So this is a chart I found. I think I found the 3 potential tops, and it'll be very easy to spot once it happens, and I'll cover this as well. Typically, if you can find out where the top is for inflation, you can find the bottom for the market. So that's why I think this is important. We can cover the Dow Jones as well. I do think we have a lot more downside. Again, downside for the indices, downside for Bitcoin, which is why this Pi cycle bottom indicator I think is crap. Also, this is the 10-year treasury yield. I see this chart. I see a pattern. I see a potential bottom target with the time frame. I charted this as well. This is under the stock section on my website. Guys, previous videos I told you we'd have some downside for the DXY. I know it pushed up quite a bit. It's coming down. I do think we still have some upside for Bitcoin. I think this is next support level down around 106. We're going to cover that also. So guys, before we get onto this, remember, if you do sign up to get access to my charts, you get access to Discord and Twitter. This was a tweet I made on July 14th. I said next key support level 19,600. Was letting you know in advance we're too long. Multiple charts are showing very strong support 19,600. And I made this tweet. We pushed up from that point. This was another one I made recently. So this is July 15th. I said, just for information, this is where I have a chance to short. As mentioned in Discord, I was telling you in advance, 21,156 is a 0.2 short. And you can see what happened. We hit that target and we came down. So again, these charts, the way I set it up, you already know where your key support and resistance levels are. This is the 01 chart. Notice it came down, found perfect support, and pushed up. Also, I made a tweet. I was asking people, I said, when I make calls telling you when I'm getting long or short, how would you score my success rate? Rather than go through all my calls, I'll just read a few of these. Why are you asking when you know you're always 100% right on your calls? 99% from me. Because I have to sleep? Well, thank you. 80%. Let's see here. Been following you for 2 months based on copying your recommendations on right stops. Your win rate is about 70%. 85 to 90%. 95%. No one's able to predict the future 100%. However, on the other hand, we have you, Zeus. Definitely one of the most accurate outside of the institutional world. 75 to 80%. 9 out of 10. Let's see here. Most of them long or short. 80%, 90%. These guys, everybody's happy. So I guess my calls have been pretty accurate. I was thinking maybe 60 or 70, but 80, like 89%, 80%. Oh, okay, this guy says 50-50. So I guess my TA is just the same as flipping a coin. 90%, 90, 95. Let's see here, 85, 95. So again, I think the majority of people are happy with the calls I made. 90%, 85%. There's a lot of responses here. So overall, people are pretty happy. My goal is to try to help you find the best entry points to make money. So that is what I do. Remember, I use Bitget. If you want to use my affiliate link, it's pinned in the first comment description. I like their platform because it's 125 times leverage. Guys, if you do get into leverage trading, please do not do leverage trading unless you've practiced first. I do have a tutorial simulated. This is simulated leverage trading. When you create an account with Bitget, they give you $3,000 USDT is fake money, so you can practice doing longing and shorting, setting a stop loss, see how much you would have made, how much you would have lost. Then when you feel comfortable and you think you got it, then you can actually use a platform and trade with real money. But I'll put a link up this video now if you want to check it out. Guys, I decided, I'm sure you heard that Coinbase they fired like 1,000 people. They rescinded job offers, and just recently, I think they talked about getting rid of their affiliate program. They're trying to cut costs. I think they're doing really bad. Now, look, I like Coinbase. I mean, I use Coinbase to transfer money to my checking account, so I need them. But the money that I'm going to use to hodl to buy the bottom, for some reason, I just don't want to have it on Coinbase. So I'm moving I do like you can have everything in USD, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy 50% in USDT, 50% in USDC, and transfer that all to Bitget. Because while other exchanges aren't doing well, Bitget revealed earlier this week that it seeks to double its workforce by 1,000 people by the end of the year. The company's focused on filling operations, product development, customer service, which they do have great customer service roles across regions, which has seen growth. So they're doing really well, so I prefer to be on exchanges doing well. This was a link, this was put out on June 24, 2022. I'll have this in the description if you want to check it out. But a lot of these exchanges are hurting, and I'd rather be in exchanges doing well. So I'm not saying for you to do that, I'm just saying I'm going to do that. Okay, so let's cover this bullshit indicator, the pi cycle bottom. Okay, so we know previously when it flashed 2015, right? This was a bottom. All right, great. So it flashed again in 2018. It was a bottom. So 2 times this worked. It called the bottom. Well, it flashed again. And I have to admit, you know, where it flashed, it makes a lot of sense. This is our previous all-time high in 2017. We're holding support there. So, hey, previous all-time high is, you know, previous resistance flipped out support. It just flashed. Every YouTuber, everybody's talking about this indicator. The bottom's in. It's only up from here. I get it. But I think it's a trap, because first of all, if this is accurate and this called the bottom for Bitcoin, then that means it also called the bottom for the stock market. So you might as well buy into the stock market because it's only up from here. And that means this also called for the peak of inflation. That means inflation's peaked and it's going to start coming down. And I do not believe that's the case for the indices or the inflation. So we're going to cover this with these other charts. So as I mentioned, Bitcoin follows the indices. Right here you can see this is the NASDAQ in blue, and this is Bitcoin. When the NASDAQ topped out, Bitcoin topped out. And this is coming down, Bitcoin's been coming down. So if the bottom is in for Bitcoin, that means the bottom is in for the indices. That means buy into the stock market. If the indices continue down, Bitcoin's going to continue following down. Do you think all of a sudden Bitcoin's going to continue up while the indices come down? No, that's not going to happen. If the indices are bottom, Bitcoin's bottom. If we have more downside for the indices, we have more downside for Bitcoin, period. Inflation. So if the bottom is in for Bitcoin, that means inflation is peaked. That means this is the top, and inflation is going to start coming down, and that means the Fed's going to what? Lower interest rates instead of raise interest rates? No, I don't believe that's the case. I think the inflation is going to continue up. They're going to have to continue to raise interest rates to tackle inflation. So again, that's why I do not believe the bottom is in. That indicator is a bunch of crap. This is a chart I created a while back, guys. This is my P1 chart. I've covered this before, but basically, just to show you what this represents, basically, these are parallel lines. Every time, you can see this line has been support, right? So it's support, support, support. So basically, the same line that was support after we peaked, right? That same line is the line we'll bottom on. You can see all of these lines are parallel. This is in 2019, this is in 2020, and it's parallel to this line, right, where I think we're going to bottom, and it'll be around $10,000 early September. So I'm just going to recreate this really quick, show how I found these fib channel lines, but I do believe that our bottom target is going to be around 10,000. And I'll go through these other charts. So just really quick, just to show you, this is the basis of how I create my charts. I do have tutorials showing this in detail, but I just want to show you how I found this. So basically, you know, this is our support back here in 2013, 2015. All we do is we bring this fib channel line up to this point, which is our support. And notice that all of this support right here, and we bottomed on that same line. If we do another fib channel line, we come from this point right here. It's just parallel to this line, and we bring it up to this blue line right here. That found our bottom right here. Look at that. Now we did come below it, all right? We had a wick below it, but the meat of the candle is above the support level. So we do another fib channel line. I think with this one, I think I came from here. Let me see here. Let's just do this real quick. So we go from this line up to, okay, right there. So basically, you see I'm connecting these lines. When I bring it up, it has to touch another line. That makes all these fib channel lines match. And you can see what this does, right? This actually gave us points where we topped out, right? This gave us our resistance here and our resistance here. And you can see, and again, I did this quick and dirty if I would have taken my time, but basically you can see this right here will be our support. That's why I believe, again, if this happened previously, you know, like support, we bottomed on that same line right here. It was support, bottomed on that same line. right, hold on guys, same thing. This was in 2019, support, support, support. We did wick below it, but the meat of the candle is above this point. So I think it happened, what? It happened 1, 2, 3 times previously. That's why I believe this will be our support right here. I believe that this is the point. And the timing for this, I'm using the 500-week moving average, I'm watching to the Dow Jones, other charts as well, but I do believe our bottom target would be here. And again, this is the actual chart. So I believe our bottom, again, parallel channels, parallel lines. These are parallel to each other, right? As I just showed you. So it just makes sense if it happened the previous 3 times, it's going to happen again. So I do think that is where we're going to bottom around 10,000. And I did tell you that has to do with multiple charts. Let's go on. This is a CME futures chart. It just so happens, and I showed you this chart right here. This right here, this red line seems to be our strongest support and resistance level. All right, this if you use the VPVR, you'll notice that there's the most volume right here. So this seems like a likely support level. It just happens to be with 500-week moving averages. And September 1st, there's a lot of confluence around, early September, there's a lot of confluence around this time. So again, that's why I believe we're going to hit that target. I'm sorry guys, I have a lot of charts up. Also, since I told you the strongest support level is down here around 10,000, well, we have a gap right here. This is my CME futures chart. We have a gap right here. You can see it. So that gap has not been filled. So if we're going to drop to a strong support level, well, we do have a gap there. Not saying it has to hit that point, but it seems like a likely target. And notice how well the Bitcoin's been respecting this yellow fib circle. So as soon as we break below this point, right, we've been bouncing on this ring. As soon as we break this ring, I think we're headed down to this target. So this is the CPI chart I created. Again, I added this to the stock section. When I created this chart, I see trend lines. So first of all, I saw this trend line here that the CPI was respecting very well. We had this point, previous support, flipped as resistance. You can see right here, this was very obvious to me. This was support right here, support, 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 resistance, resistance, and resistance. So this fib channel is basically created, just like I showed you that Bitcoin chart. I used the same method to create this chart. And what this shows me is we have 3 points to potentially watch for the top. Now, the one great thing about the CPI data is when it starts coming down, notice when it's pushing up, right? It pushes up, you get a little retrace, pushes up, a little retrace, but when it starts coming down, you know when it's coming down. It doesn't come up like this, do something like that, and then continue up. It just continues up. And then when it gets rejected, it comes down. So if the pi cycle indicator is correct, that means this is one target. I will give you that. This is my first target right here to potentially get rejected. So if you start seeing us hit this point, right, and you start seeing inflation start coming down, right, well, then that's potentially a bottom. And as I said before, when inflation peaks, that's typically close to the bottom for the stock market. But if you see us continue past this point, right, then this would be the next target. If you start seeing us get rejected at this point, hey, then inflation has peaked. But these are the points I have right here. This one, and this one. And this one is just right above us. So again, if we continue up, well, we know this is the next target to watch. If you get rejected there, the peak's in. If not, the highest point I think will go is up here. And again, the reason I have these lines here, you can see this line right here. This is October, this is 31st of October 1974. This is my Dow Jones chart right here. So you can see inflation peaked right at this point, and at the same time you can see this was a bottom for the Dow. If we go back, this is 2008, right? We had our housing bubble. This is when inflation peaked at this point, and you can see now it didn't time the bottom exactly. When inflation peaked, we were halfway down, and I think that's how it's going to play out now. I think when inflation peaks, we'll be halfway to the bottom. So I think we still have another move down with the indices, but it can help with timing. But I do think I think we have a lot higher to go with the CPI, which means we have a lot more downside. And if I zoom in over here, so just want to show you this particular chart. This is called my Dow Jones crash ring chart. And again, I I don't have a published chart up, but I predicted that when we hit this ring, something would happen. I thought we'd move down the inside of the ring. We've been bouncing down this ring. I think the bottom is going to be right here for the Dow. Just like I showed you the strongest support and resistance level for Bitcoin, that is the strongest support and resistance level for the Dow Jones. And it just so happens there's a lot of confluence. This orange flip circle helped me predict the crash before COVID. This green ring helped me predict the top for the Dow. This happens to be September, early September. This right here is our strongest support and resistance level. This all coincides right here with early September, around 26,500 for the Dow. That means the Dow could drop another 15 to 16%. So a lot more downside for the indices means downside for Bitcoin. So I do not believe the bottom is in. This is the 10-year treasury. Again, I charted this because I saw a pattern. This looks like a support level. And you'll notice that same method I used, I showed you for the Bitcoin chart. This right here just stands out. This is, look, this is resistance, right? Resistance, flipped that support, flipped that support, flipped that support. Well, the lower this goes, you know, if the treasury yield keeps going down, the stock market's going to go down as well. Once this finds support and pushes up, that means that's potentially a bottom. And I'm just saying, this was a previous bottom back here. You can see all of the support and resistance here. We bottomed right here. That's a lot of confluence. In order for us to hit this point, it needs to be on this date, and this is early September. So I think this will continue down. Another reason why early September, I think we're going to bottom. The DXY, guys. So I covered this in previous video. We were struggling to get above this ring. You can see for 1, 2, 3 days, immediate candles below. We got a fake out to the upside, and then we started coming back down. So I think our next support is going to be top of this wedge. Let me make this bigger so you can see it. This is right here. It's going to be around 106. So again, that's why I think we got upside for Bitcoin. This is going to continue down potentially, right? Rings are potential reversal points. Notice this ring right here. Let me just zoom out and show you this in the bigger picture. If you notice this, let me get rid of some of this, guys, so you can see this. But notice this fib circle. We hit this point, we got rejected. Notice we found support on it, hit it, got rejected, hit this, got rejected, found support, it was resistance. We hit this point, look at all that resistance right there. Hit this ring, rejected, 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 came down, found support, resistance, right? We hit this ring and bounced right off of it. This ring right here, you can see when we pushed up, we went sideways, came down, look what happened, we hit the next ring. All right, hold on, guys. Apologize, I didn't plan this out too well. My mouse is like not working. And this ring right here, all right, so again, we pushed above it a bit, but rings are indicators for reversal points. We did push above it a bit, but notice we had a drop. That's why I'm saying, and I've been saying, that potentially we have some downside for the DXY. I'm bullish on the DXY. I think we're going to go much higher, but it's possible we retrace back down, hold support around 106. That would be the retrace from this ring, and then we push up to some higher targets because, again, I do not think inflation has peaked. I think the stock market has a lot more downside, so the DXY is going to push up. So I hope that makes sense, guys. I would watch 106. So if you start seeing Bitcoin continue pushing up, you know, watch to see if the DXY holds support at 106 and starts pushing up. That's when you probably want to sell or put in a short for Bitcoin. So this is the G1 chart. I'm just gonna give you support resistance levels. As I've been saying, guys, I told you, I gave you points to buy. Your first point you should have bought in is down here around. This was 19,200. We did get one crazy wick below. Notice we came back up and we found support right here, 19,179. For you guys that missed that entry, I gave you another entry point. It was right down here. That was that tweet I just showed you at the beginning of this video at 19,600. And you can see your current resistance right now on this G1 chart. The next resistance above is right here at 22,000. And again, if you get access to my charts, red means short or sell, and green means buy or long. So your current support right now, if you come back down, is 21,000. Your next resistance above is 22,038. On the 01, this is the 01 chart. So you can see we found perfect support there. Your next major resistance above is up here around 22,400. Make this red. And let's go on to the M1 chart. I'm pretty sure I do have this up. So again, this is the M1 chart, and look, I'm just going to tell you this. You can see this blue line right here has been our resistance, right? There's resistance here, here, and here. So your first point to watch, there's a lot of confluence. This right here is a It's basically just a fib retracement. So your next, and this makes sense, if we continue up and the DXY continues down, your first target is around 22,874, right? This is that support level I told you to buy at 19,600 too long. The next point to watch is 22,874. If we get above that, guys, I'm telling you, the absolute top. This fib channel line, right? This line right here, this green line goes back since the beginning of Bitcoin. This is a very important support and resistance level. So if we push up, I'm going in a heavy ass short, depending when you make contact. You know, right here is around 23,800. Out here is around 24,000. But if we do push above 22,874, which will be resistance, again, fib channel line, right? Plus you have this resistance level right here. That's a lot of confluence for 22,874 to put in a short, but if you do get above that and hold support, I think this will be the final bull trap up to 24,000 before we start coming down. So, and again, your strongest support below us now is around 19,800 to potentially, well, out here is 20,000. So just letting you know, this is still our strongest support level right now. Once we get and once we break below 19,900, well, basically this line right here, the support level, we have a lot more downside. And I do think it is very possible, since we've been riding down this white line, your next point to watch to get a bounce around 16,500, and this would be early August, late July, early August. But again, I still believe, like I said, this chart shows right here that we will bottom potentially around 10,000 early September. That's when inflation will have peaked. That's when the stock market will have bottomed, and I believe that's when Bitcoin will bottom. And again, that's 10,000 early September. Guys, I know this ran a little long. I'm sorry I didn't plan it out too well. Again, if you want to access these charts, websites, operatorcrypto.com. The link will be pinned in the first comment description. And $49 a month to get access to the Bitcoin charts, altcoin charts, Discord, and Twitter. I have tutorials teaching my method, and I have stocks as well. Guys, that's it. Trade safe, trade smart. I'm out.